Good morning, good morning, good morning. Well, last night, thank you for everybody emailing me on ways to take care of this head. Um, it normally takes me a couple of days to recover from the pressure on the plane. Um, no big deal. It's just part of it's gotten better, but that's life, But yeah, I'm better. Last night was the first night that I didn't have a headache. And I was like, I'm gonna get some rest. So I'm actually gonna start the process of coffee and breakfast and all that other stuff. But just wanted to set the tone going forward for today, if you would. Um, you see this whole thing with AMC and APE and the vote, the reverse split, the adding new shares, AMC climbing up to yesterday. People wondering if APE is going to be purchased, whatever. You got to go back into last year and understand something. And this is what's going to help everybody understand exactly where we're at, who we're dealing with, who we've been dealing with. You see, AMC, the corporation, is his popcorn and his people. When they created Ape, okay, they gave breathing room to the hedgies that shorted AMC. So we were all in this with a short squeeze, and we all took financial hits from that. We all took money hits. I afterwards was able to make up the money, but it was still money I had to make up. And you can look at it in a lot of different ways. You can use it on your taxes, your losses, and stuff like that. And I get it, but all of that shouldn't have happened. It's very interesting. I'm gonna stay on this subject and then I'll get to the other one because something. You ever explain something to somebody and in the process of explaining it, you find like another way of looking at it so you could understand? I mean, we're all in agreement by now that AMC has multiple times tried to fuck all of us out of our short squeeze, okay? Because the people that are in this, I know, we know, they're in this for the short squeeze. Um, X amount of people heavily shorted AMC, and we got on the opposite side. We bought up all the shares, and it continued to be more expensive for them to hold their short positions. So we turned around and we waited. We climbed up, and every time we climbed up, the one entity that had shares, AMC, kept dumping them. And nobody believed me back then. I'm like, the company's working against us. And I got all kinds of hate and all kinds of nonsense. I still remember the one that somebody put out there. Who do you trust more, a CEO of a company or a felon? I'm like, that's kind of stupid. But nonetheless, time has passed and people have seen exactly what I pointed out. The reality was that AMC, the executive team, was dumping not only the company stock but their own personal shares into the market. So while telling you, hey, we love apes, yeah, we hate lizards and all that other bullshit, they were turning around and dumping all their things. And honestly, not for nothing, if a person did that, if I was tell you, keep buying, I'm selling, that's illegal. But that's for a different day. You have to understand something. When we finally got to the point where AMC had no more shares left, and I was saying it, they have nothing more to dump themselves. And we were in a situation where everything was right about to turn and we were climbing up again. They created Ape. They created Ape already publicly two parts, to make money for their debt, because they had to do that. They had to make money for their debt and to have more shares available to them in order to drop at a later date, which they just did the other day with Antera to make more money. The other thing that they did was they increased the AMC share count through a preferred equity unit, whatever, a secondary stock, which is still the same stock. That gave breathing room to the shorters and put a lot of us that were holding in a situation where our stock price dropped down. and they added these shares. Now, APE has always been now, for the last, couple of months, has been there. AMC's been here, and now we're in a situation where AMC is climbing because there's no AMC shares, and APE is the same kind of scenario. Okay, don't be fooled. They continued to fuck around, and now they're gonna find out. This lawsuit that happened, all it did was it brought to the forefront something I was saying from before. Popcorn and his people always wanted to dilute AMC because they're the type of corporation that they make their money by dumping the shares that they have. They don't hold them. The second they get them, they sell them off. That's their operation mode. They just do that in order to get money. Now you can say, Lupa, they could do that, and that's just, yes, they can. But the whole embracing the short squeeze apes, hey, stay with us. We're gonna do what we're gonna do. We're gonna beat those shorts. But you're doing the opposite, and you're dumping your shares, helping the shorts. See, now this whole vote that scheduled to happen, because the vote happened, but as far as merging both stocks together, adding the other shares, at the end of the day, who is the AMC Corporation helping by doing that? And the answer is, what they wanted to do was to get around the fact that they could not get the votes from us when we all held AMC, in order to dilute AMC. See, here's the interesting thing. We never agreed on APE. APE was created. Now, the thing about it is this. It was created to get around us voting no on diluting the shares. Remember when he was asking for more shares? I mean, literally, they were asking for a pay increase, which people were like, yeah, but he's not going to get in cash. He's going to get it in his stock. And I was telling you, and then he's going to take the stock and they're going to dump the stock in order. That's been their overall goal. That's all it's always been about. Now that we know that APE was created for what it was, and on top of that, to get around our voting rights, how do you feel about that? Think about that for a second. We voted no. They go, you know what? Yeah, forget about their vote. Let's create this. We'll get around this. And at a later date, we'll assign voting rights to one of the people that hold our debt, basically us, because they're on that side. And we'll just take care of everything on the side of them. Yeah, we love eggs. Go fuck yourself. That's basically what happened. So now, a couple of months later after the creation of APE, I mean, we're right now in February. I think today's the 28th or so. Yeah, today's 28th. I got doctor's appointment. Today's the 28th. Okay, APE came out last year, a couple of months ago. And now, the lawsuit, whatever, the question is, do they have the right to basically assign the voting, to increase the overall, AMC APE dilution? Answer is no. But understand, how did we get here? We got here because they turned around and they created APE to get around our vote in the first place. I think people misunderstand a lot of because there's a lot of talking in this. It's one of the weird things about AMC. Everybody starts talking short interest, we hit the resistance, all this stuff. And I'm like, dog, this has nothing to do with that. We're dealing with a company that we saved, that turned around and is trying to save the people they work with, which is the people on the street. The people on the street lend them the money, the whole thing. Even Popcorn. Popcorn's a Wall Street appointed CEO. If people don't know what that means, some people do, but basically, he's not a founder. He didn't start AMC. Okay? It's just one of these things where, major funds, they hold debt into a company, they buy into a company. When it's time to appoint a CEO, yeah, that's our guy. Because our guy is going to do what's good for us. That's just what happens. I've been in places where they appoint somebody in. Everybody, oh, congratulations. Congratulations, what? He's placed. Anyway, this is not a bash Popcorn type thing. CEOs are going to do what CEOs do. That's just how it is. Founders are different. When you have a founder, that's different. Because that's his child. He looks at that business like a member of his family. And he doesn't want to screw it over. And when he screws it over, it's something with him or her. That being said, we're here now because they created the ape to bypass our votes, to dilute. But now they're in a situation where they continue to short because they had ape, because they always deep down knew within the circle that there was going to be further dilution, that there will be shares available in order for them to cover their shorts. So they were making money shorting. So they were confident in that. But guess what? In that lawsuit, and like I said, that lawsuit may at the end of the day just be a blip, but in the slight possibility that they're blocked from the further dilution, then you have AMC heavily shorted with a limited amount of apes to be used to cover long on that. And what's going to happen if AMC, which is starting to do, starts to climb? AMC needs ape, very little ape, heavily shorted. They're not increasing more apes. We might have a unique situation here where AMC, and I know AMC is going to have its rights. I personally, I'm looking at the whole thing and how they're behaving. I'll give you an example. You guys remember when the reverse split was first announced, how ape started to run? Remember? And then the ape and Terra popcorn deal was done as well. And then when the lawsuit came in and it put the reverse split in question or in pause, ape price started to go down somewhat. Understand something. The next evolution of AMC involves ape, whether you like it or not. Ape is AMC. People keep thinking that AMC is separate from ape. They're not. They exist in the same universe. But it's almost like you cannot have the sun without having the moon. You need night if you're going to have day. But at a certain point, you have twilight. You have that time where they both exist. That's where we're going at now. I said it last night in the video that shorts are nervous because they were anticipating this dilution coming in order to save their position, because they continue to go. It's almost like speeding in a car. At a certain point, let's say the speed limit is, 65. And you're doing 72. If you put a little bit more gas and go 75, what's the difference? They continue to do it. But now that they see the lights in their rearview mirror, now they're trying to downgrade their speed. But the thing is, the damage is already done. They're already in a zone where they're gonna get penalized. There's no way around it. So, purpose of this video was to let you know, how did we get here? Why did we get here? What has happened so far? Who are the characters that are involved in it? The same ones, the behaviors there. And also understanding the value of AMC and ape. I hope AMC runs. The harder and higher AMC runs, the more valuable ape will become. Do you understand? They're two separate plays living in the same universe. It's like you get in a fight and you go, I'm only going to hit with the left hand. I'm only going to hit with the left hand. The second your jaw is broken and your nose is bleeding, your eyes shut, you're going to use the right hand. It's just going to happen. So please understand, going forward, this is where we're at, and this is what's going to happen.